Rejoice, dear viewers, for today we turn to the greatest of tabletop events.
Oh, you mean scotch tasting? I hope we're doing that all day.
No, Napoleonic tabletop gaming, but in a theater we've never done before, the Peninsula.
Isn't that the campaign where the British continually and with shocking regularity defeat the French over and over again?
Let's not quibble about minor details. Let's get to the main course. We're going to refight the pivotal Battle of Talavera, fought in July of 1809.
Talavera! That's where Sharp got his eagle.
Always remember, Major Lennox answered for it with his life.
The fault was not mine, sir. Major Lennox must answer.
Major Lennox answered with his life, as you should have done if you had any sense of honor.
Talavera is a pretty big battle, as it involved close to 50,000 troops on each side. I think we should give the viewers a brief background on the campaign.
Arthur Wellesley, who is not yet the Duke of Wellington, leads a small British army back to Portugal in April of 1809. It was not an auspicious time for the British and their Iberian allies, with the disaster of Corona in 1808 and several dramatic Spanish battlefield losses. Despite having a small and somewhat inexperienced army, Wellesley felt he had to go on the offensive to save his Spanish allies. He achieved some early success by ejecting Soult's Corps from the key Portuguese city of Porto. With his base in Portugal now secured, Wellesley looked to invade Spain.
Miles, we don't have enough time to go through what is the chaos of the Spanish army, but suffice it to say it was filled with political intrigue and incompetence.
Still, they were an ally, and one that could put large numbers of enthusiastic, if not fully trained troops in the field. Seeing an opportunity to attack Victor's isolated First Corps, Wellesley marched his army into central Spain to meet up with the Spanish General Cuesta's 35,000-man army of the Extremunda near the city of Talavera. From there, they would attack Victor and then march on to Madrid to rid the country of its usurper king, Napoleon's older brother, Joseph, who he had installed on the throne the year before.
While the French enjoyed numerical superiority in the theater, they were widely spread out and suffered from petty command jealousy and Joseph's general incompetence. But in July 1809, Joseph showed some rare strategic insight. He actually did something smart. Joseph sensed Victor might be too isolated and ordered both Sabastani's 4th Corps and his Royal Guard to march to Victor's aid.
Cuesta made it to Talavera first, followed shortly by the British. By dawn of July 27, 1809, 55,000 Allied troops were ensconced in and around the city of Talavera. At 11 a.m., the first French elements began to arrive. By the end of that day, there would be a French army of close to 50,000 men on the outskirts of Talavera.
The stage was set for the historical battle, but our version of Talavera is going to look just a little different.
We've wound back the clock and done some map-based maneuver leading up to our version of the battle. I organized this as a Kriegspiel type event, a run over Discord. I acted as a referee and gave each player limited snapshots of the map as units on both sides entered the region around Talavera. Discord allows you to create separate chat rooms to maintain a fog of war.
You can also use voice channels for command conferences between players. Players could only communicate in the voice channel if their leaders were adjacent on the map. Otherwise, we were limited to written dispatches, which had a time delay.
As a referee, I managed the messages and dispatches, and each turn represented roughly 1 hour of time.
This was my first event of using Kriegspiel over Discord, and I have to say, I had a blast.
There are 2 shout-outs we should make here. One to the International Kriegspiel Society, who has taught me how to run Kriegspiels over Discord.
And 2 to me.
And 2, actually 3 shout-outs then.
And another to Operational Studies Group. We use their map for our online approach to battle.
I really like their games and have quite a few of them in my collection. Well, at this point, everyone knows that I was the umpire for the game, but Josh, what role did you play?
You may address me as Your Majesty.
Yeah, don't let that go to your head.
Too late. I'm Josh, and I'm the Commander-in-Chief, Joseph, for this battle.
I'm Dale, and I'm Marshal Victor.
I'm Dieter, and I'm playing Sebastiani.
Hi, I'm Dave, playing as General Shearbrook of the 1st Division.
I'm Ed, playing Arthur Wellesley, General in Command. And I'm Carl. I'm playing Generalissimo Cuesta of the Spanish Army.
Now you've met our teams. Let's show you what they did earlier this week in our Discord Kriegspiel. We started on the morning of July 27th. The British played rather aggressively with their cavalry by moving forward trying to delay the advance of the French. It worked for a bit until they were forced back into positions south of Segurella.
By the early afternoon, I had ordered Victor's troops to seize the high ground of Cerro de Cascajal, just as they did historically, and we prepared to assault the British on the opposing heights. From this point onward, our Kriegspiel began to vary significantly from the historical battle.
Rather than passively wait for the French to begin their attack, I ordered a hidden cavalry formation to charge into the flank of Victor's 1st Division. The charge was devastating and the French quickly broke and ran, as they do.
We countered the British surprise by shoring up Victor's flank with the 2nd Dragoon Division. This checked the British advance. Around this time, Victor informed me that a large concentration of Allied artillery appeared massed on the Medellin. These guns, along with the sorry state of his troops, led Victor to call off any further attacks for the day.
But the fighting wasn't done yet, and here's where the French employed a very different approach to the battle. Rather than support Victor's probing efforts, as was done historically, both Sebastiani and Joseph marched their troops directly towards Talavera, using the Algarves as cover. The ploy worked, and they were able to launch a series of attacks at dusk and into the night on the city of Talavera. The Spanish garrison fought valiantly, but were at a disadvantage as the majority of their artillery was on the Medellin.
After dark, I received word from our Spanish allies that despite their heroic and valiant efforts, the French seized some of the outskirts of Talavera. Losses on both sides are reported to be heavy, but it seems the French now have a toehold on the city.
Talavera is the main French objective for the battle, and so that toehold is a significant departure from the historical events. First of all, the tragedy of Josh having an empty glass is something we should all contemplate. And now we return events to the tabletop and begin our battle at dawn on July 28th, 1809.
Messieurs, oh, one more, please.
Both sides have enjoyed a limited opportunity to either reorganize or shift some forces during the night, but the battle lines are drawn. To fight the action on the tabletop, we're using one of my favorite Napoleonic rule sets, General d'Armée 2, written by Dave Brown and available from Two Fat Lardies. We'll tell you a little bit more about the rules as we get into the battle.
Hi, I'm Dave Brown, and I'm the author of General d'Armée, and I'll be your guest narrator for the Talavera battle. As the opposing sides prepare for battle, why don't we hear their strategies for the day? As a proper Englishman, I think it would only be sporting of me to start with the French.
For the pre-map deployment phase, the Kriegspiel part of this game went really well for us guys. I think we did a great job of maneuvering to their flank, and during that period, we did two key things that was important. We took an objective, the monastery, and we pushed into Talavera right away.
And I was really surprised. I met very little resistance. And in fact, that changed our plan midway through the maneuver phase.
The British were very passive in that, and they kind of withdrew and took a defensive posture and allowed us to maneuver.
Well, I think they spread themselves out to refuse that line along the road they're on up to the hill, but we're spread out in such a way that I think we're going to keep them a little overextended. Having troops up on the monastery is going to make it uncomfortable for them to pull back and try to concentrate where they want to defend Talavera.
Yep, so now we're at the battle, we're on day 2, and we're beginning the day. We're looking at the deployment of the British and the Spanish, and we're shocked. We were shocked to learn that they kept the Spanish in Talavera and did not swap out for British soldiers instead to hold the town. We'll see how that plans out because we are planning on hitting Talavera hard. We have a massive grand battery set up right outside town, and we're going to pound the living daylights out of that area.
We see the Spanish as being kind of the weak underbelly, and the quicker we take them out of the way, the better off we'll be.
Our battle plan basically coming to this was to the 3 forward divisions of the British, get them back to this line at Talavera without incident, which I think we, for the most part, were able to do. with the thought that the French would be coming. We now see probably that they're trying to attack Talavera in force, so we're deploying now to prevent that if possible.
Well, they should. The points are at Talavera. That's worth 6 points at least to us.
Right.
We've lost 2 points here. We did not contest the monastery. This ridgeline is 2 points. But if they want to fight us in a build-up area...
It is a little disconcerting. They are sending the French Imperial Guard after the town, and it's defended by what I would describe as spirited but inexperienced Spanish troops.
Well, make no mistake, this is a great French army. Some say better than the one Napoleon's running in 1809. There, we've covered our bases.
That's right. Our excuses are prepared.
Yes.
The thought is that the Spanish are better in the build-up area than they would be out in line. I think they're even worse there. So we're going to use their strength in numbers inside the build-up area and hope that they can slow down the French.
Yeah, it's true. I think the best we can provide, my noble troops, is a speed bump for the French as they move forward.
Put them behind a stone wall or in front of one.
The battle begins at 7 a.m. with a massive French artillery barrage. Sebastiani and Joseph have assembled 60 pieces of artillery above Talavera, pounding the Spanish in the wooded groves across the Portina stream. There's no mistaking French intentions. They are going all in on a frontal assault into Talavera. I know the battle has just begun, but I feel the need to pause and emphasise the total reversal of the historical battle. In 1809, the French primarily arrayed their strength against the British, merely screening the Spanish army with a cavalry division. Joseph and his troops played little role in the battle, remaining in reserve and leaving Marshal Jourdan to arrange the details of the French attack on the heights above Talavera, a ridgeline known as the Medellin. But you can forget all about that, because here is what we're looking at today. The French are still deployed on a wide frontage. In fact, their line is even longer than it was historically, but most of the fighting power is concentrated on the opposite end of the battle line, including Joseph and his royal guard. Our King Joseph has no intention of living in his brother's shadow or remaining in reserve on turn 1. His infantry brigades will storm deeper into Talavera with the bayonet.
We have no elite infantry. We have large. Add a dice to your hand.
Is this the purple chart we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. You're attacking a village for the first round. Take a dice out of your hand. You have higher morale. Add a dice to your hand. Roll your dice. Every 4+ is a hit.
That's
Holy crap!
good.
3 hits. I got 3.
3 and 3. Each of you take 3 hits. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to do it again. Now, you can choose to reinforce this attack if you want to. And that just means another one of your units is piling in.
On top, yeah, reinforced.
All right. You can choose to reinforce this attack.
With the guys outside the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So now,
Right? I mean, we gotta hold it.
yeah. Well, now you're going to roll 10 dice.
Okay. That work?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. So you got, how many you got? 4. 4? All right. So you're going to take 2 hits on both your units. So he's going to go to 5.
Winner takes the ground.
Winner takes the round.
Woohoo!
And you put 2 on him.
Halfway there.
Hell yeah!
The French score early success and now control half of Talavera. Over the next 2 turns, they press forward and feed additional brigades into the city streets, claiming 3 of the 4 built-up zones.
Que desastre! There's some problems where we're getting pushed out of Talavera. I think we kind of expected this, but my guys were less valiant than even I had expected. The plan now is to just throw stuff into the meat grinder and try and hold them, and then the British, I think, are going to redeploy to try and just form a line and maybe push them out of the town. I think maybe we made a miscalculation. The French are not attacking anywhere else. They're just attacking Talavera. So the British are kind of just sitting twiddling their thumbs right now. It's, it is what it is.
The British may appear to be twiddling their thumbs, but the challenge for the Allies is greater than it seems. The British need to backstop the Spanish flank, but with what troops? The line is fully stretched to match the French across a wide front, and pulling any divisions out of the line will only serve to open a dangerous gap for the French to exploit. Ed plans to solve this puzzle with two manoeuvres. First, a contraction of the British left wing, drawing them closer and freeing up some brigades to create a reserve. And second, ordering the 6,000 men of Sherbrooke's 1st Division to make a spoiling attack across the stream to throw the French off balance and slow their momentum.
And the more I just feed into these guys, it's gonna. But you know what? We'll hold 1/4 of the town for another turn. I mean, there's not much I can do.
I think there's no more French charges. British charges.
We're going to use the post of honor for the 1st Division. So, the brigade is the Campbell's brigade. So the lead units and the supports charge with forwards move.
Yeah.
So we're going to.
Who's your target?
Okay. And who do you want to be the target?
Oblique, right, hit the guns.
Oblique and hit the guns.
All right. Don't get a shot at you coming in.
All right.
You're charging the guns?
He's charging the guns.
Oh man.
So one unit makes contact. He can bring up to 3 supports with him. And supports give him rerolls.
I'm inspired by this action.
I thought you would be.
Oh, it's terrible.
That is a fire casualty on you. This one can fire at that support coming in. That's a 6. That's better.
We had our artillery in a line just north of the town, and we were beating up on them pretty bad with the artillery, which I think pressured the British into charging across the creek, and it didn't work out too well for us receiving that charge. We have some cavalry in reserve behind the artillery, so I think we can contain it, but it is a little disheartening to lose the use of that much artillery with getting charged.
Sherbrooke's counterattack across the Portina captures a French battery and forces 2 others to limber up and withdraw for safety. But safety is nearby, as Dieter has a cavalry division waiting in reserve to defend the Grand Battery. Winning initiative to start the next turn and proper allocation of orders is now more critical than ever for both sides. I designed General Jarmet II with a keen focus on this Napoleonic command and control.
Well, this is my first time playing this game. I've played a bunch of other Napoleonic games, but it's honestly a period I've always found pretty daunting.
Yeah.
And this rule set is definitely, there's a lot to get your head around. It's
Right.
got a lot of little things in there, but I feel like it's accessible enough that I'm able to kind of follow along with what's going on, even though it's my first game.
Yeah, it is crunchy, but there are a lot of things about it to like. I think one of the things that I like about it most is the command structure. Getting the ADC dice to kind of give yourself options. Even if you don't roll particularly well, you don't have a lot of dice, you always have options for the most important thing that you can decide to do in a turn. So for that, it is, I think, a pretty good system.
Yeah, I actually, the combat resolution I really have enjoyed so far, though I've been on the wrong end of it.
Yeah, you can get on the losing end with inferior troops, but that is probably as it should be.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear Dave and Carl comment on the critical role of ADCs in the game. At the start of each new turn, players roll a handful of 6-sided dice to determine the availability of aide-de-camp, and these can be allocated to various tasks. Choosing the right priorities at the right time can turn the tide of battle at a critical moment. And on turn 5, this Battle of Talavera hangs in the balance. A bold British counterattack into the heart of the French line has met early success, but failed to achieve a full breakthrough. When the French win the initiative, Dieter announces a cavalry charge. Sebastiani's reserve collapsed down on the British salient from 3 directions, turning Dave's early success into a dangerous salient. Dave must now confront a painful choice. Will he pull back to avoid envelopment, or will Ed approve a major counterattack and push all the chips onto the poker table?
Ed and I had decided that we needed to do something to kind of take the pressure off of Talavera. If we had been very successful, there was the thought that we could maybe do some heavy pushing and possibly disrupt their attack. However, that did not go as well as we had hoped. So although we had some success, ultimately it isn't enough really to get the French to move out of Talavera.
So I guess in a desperate move to make something happen, Ed ordered an assault in the middle of their line across the stream. At first I was a little concerned that, man, if that goes wrong for us, we could really we could lose the middle of our line and our army could be split in 2. But we're holding there, so it's okay.
In the face of stiff French resistance, the British attempt to withdraw Sherbrooke out of the salient and consolidate their position. But a spoiling attack will be needed to give Sherbrooke's division the breathing room to fall back. A 2nd division is now thrown across the stream to demonstrate against Sebastiani and provide support. It's a move Victor's Corps, led by Dale, has been eagerly awaiting, having spent the entire morning idly screening the British left. Dale pounces on the chance to get his men into action. By moving up another division to help extricate Sherbrooke, the British may have inadvertently created an even bigger, more dangerous salient. Unlike the halting and cautious historical French High Command, today's French players decide this is the time to go all in. Victor and Sebastiani hit the British from multiple angles with combined arms attacks. Ed is prepared to unleash the British heavy cavalry when he suddenly sees Spanish troops running pell-mell from Talavera. The last zone of the town has fallen to the French in a bloody house-to-house close quarters action. With Talavera lost and the Spanish wavering, Wellesley must do the unthinkable. He orders a full disengagement from the battlefield before it's too late, and a defeat turns into a rout.
Okay, so it looks like our plan worked out pretty well. We were hoping to mass our troops for a strong push at Talavera, but have enough on the northern flank of the board to make the British hesitant to move down to where we were stronger. Things worked out pretty well. It was getting a little hairy at the end. They were on the verge of breaking the artillery line we had in front of the troops just north of the town. But in the end, Wellington ordered a general withdrawal.
It's a hard-fought contest, but I think I'm going to have to call it. It is a material French victory. But the key of the battle was really set by the maneuvers the night before. With the French actually gaining a foothold in Talavera, they were able to steadily push the Spanish out. The Spanish actually put up a heck of a fight. I think I'd give Carl man of the match for actually having the pluck to put up for that fighting, because that was very hard.
Can I put that on my resume?
You should put that on that resume. But with the French firmly in control of Talavera, firmly in control of the monastery, and the British wisely electing to actually, it's time to fight another day. The field belongs to Joseph and the French in a major French victory. History has been reversed.
Yay! Vive la France! Vive la France!
Great job.
Yep.
Great job.
Good job.
Great job.
Maybe next time
Great job,
we take
Peter.
cavalry.
A fantastic battle and a complete reversal of the 1809 outcome. But what does it mean? Coming up next on Little Wars TV, we explore the consequences of a decisive Allied defeat at Talavera. And I say we, because yes, that's me. Along with my son Chris, we're joining the Little Wars TV regulars for the dangerous aftermath of Talavera. Can the French trap Wellesley before he escapes to Portugal?
But a great game. I hope you had fun.
It beats raking leaves.
There you go. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking to be just above yard work, and I achieved my goal. Thank you guys very much.
Good job, man.
Thanks. You know, in the pre-battle Kriegspiel, we burned a lot of bridges to prevent them from making some crossings, but not as many bridges as the British are now burning.
Oh boy, my number's up. This is it for me. I mean, I can say what I damn well please.